I don't know what happened to the actual industry itself, but in my own opinion and own experiences, as far as the gaming industry goes, this shit is dead. I mean, let's be real. We haven't waited for a really good game in a long time. And I'm not talking your run of the mill, just Call of Duty, your Battlefields, and your, top of the line games that have been in the past, or even GTA 6 coming out. God forbid that comes out and people hate it. But I'm talking about just gaming in general. I mean, all these industries are just going to straight crud at this point. There are tons of different developers and art designers that are just being laid off and discontinued from their jobs, which they've been super successful at. And I guess one of the biggest examples I have of recency, I guess, and maybe a recency bias because I love the game itself, would have to be Destiny 2. This was a game that had a franchise running for long before some of these other games that have just recently come out, not to mention the whole extraction shooter BS that's been on the prowl recently. And I guess it's one of those games that I really fell for a long time. I played D1 for plenty of years and got every DLC when I could, and then I got D2 and even bought it at the time. And I guess over the short coming of it growing up, it eventually became free, but the DLCs were still a big part of what the game was, and those all costed money. Now, all these developers have been completely dropped from this industry, or I guess from this game alone, and it's ruined it to the point that they're no longer even making concurrent updates anymore. It's just a little tag along of, hey, we're going to ask you to buy stuff from our shop still using their in game currency, i.e., silver, and it still costs full price. But if you want to enjoy the game, you can still download the DLCs, but those also cost a price. And I hate to say it, but spending money on games now just feels like you're throwing money into a slot machine that is bound to never pay you out anymore. It's just stuck in the constant cycle and loop that they're guaranteeing you to have at least a somewhat of a good time, but now it doesn't even seem like that. It's just a gamble of, are they going to continue making the game that you love or enjoyed playing or are in hopes to enjoy playing or not? A lot of these industries are kind of just brushing away their fan bases, and it feels a bit lackluster now to even go on and play any sort of current game because you can almost guarantee that they're not going to continue making it a fun, enjoyable experience anymore. After the whole Fortnite dilemma of battle pass after battle pass, every game is trying to reinvent the wheel now of how can we get some new subscribers to pay a monthly fee or at the very least a seasonal pass fee so that they can continue playing our game and put money into our pockets. And quite frankly, I hate that. I grew up on games of like Xbox era or PlayStation Go of all these different things of, you buy the game once, you play it for plenty amount of time, and eventually, after making large updates and large expansions, they release another game that goes along with what you've already played originally. And I feel like that's way more of a sustainable era of maintaining a player base and a fan base of any sort of game than what they're doing now, where it's just every season they're releasing a new $20 to $40, even upwards to $100 expansions for DLCs that nobody really cares about a year later. And it just doesn't seem right anymore. I go back and I play these old Call of Duties and I have just as fun of a time that I had whenever I got it. Sure, the player base might not be as popular, but it's still the same game nonetheless. Everything still plays the same. Maybe my controller is different because I'm on backwards compatibility on a new Xbox playing an old Xbox game, but beyond that, it all feels relatively the same. And there's even the same crappy player base too. My Black Ops 2 account got completely hacked to where I can't even provide gameplay on that anymore because my account is just gone off the face of the earth. It vanished. I'm stuck in some sort of banned phase that I'll never be able to take off my account, I guess. And I guess that's on me for playing old Call of Duties and being in that sort of mix. But at the same time, I enjoyed these games and I still enjoy these games. I don't plan on not enjoying them unless I just truly change how I feel about the entire world. But until then, I'm going to continue playing these sort of games because all these new ones are still in that state of mind that I have of being a waste of money and a waste of my time. Until a game really pops up and shines in hopes that GTA 6 at least has somewhat of that sort of ideal, then I don't see any change happening anytime soon. And I see that these companies are continuing their same thought process of we're going to keep doing this too. So I guess I'm just going to have to bite the bullet with some of these games and deal with it. But I really do hope that gaming changes pretty fast in the future. Maybe I'm seeing it through the opposite of rose colored glasses too, though. And maybe I just have shit colored goggles that I can't take off and they're glued to my head. But I guess that's just something that I've personally dealt with. Maybe you guys have dealt with something else and have found games that you love in the current, I guess, meta of playing video games now. And I'd love to hear your opinions or any sort of like options to throw out there that I should try out. I mean, I've played things like Gears of War, tons of Call of Duty, Battlefields, pretty much any shooter that you could possibly name at this point, Arma, Army of Two. I loved all of these games up until like probably about 2019, whenever things just started going completely south for almost every industry when it comes to gaming. And I like to see it as the Fortnite effect because everybody saw the money bags that were coming in from that game alone and they all wanted to be that. And I understand that companies are going to do what companies do, and that's chase the money. But maybe it's not always about the bag that you're really trying to get. Because over a long period of time, I could really see it being more beneficial for some of these companies to just stick to their gut and really dig down deep and make the creative that people love rather than chasing the bag that they just want. Because if they make a good game, people are going to buy it. And if they make a crappy game just on some sort of like AI reflux of constantly dishing out whatever they can whenever they can, then their player base is going to reflect exactly that. I mean, you can look at the new Modern Warfare 4 player base count just off the beta alone. Sure, it might not be a completed game, but people are already dishing out how they hate it, and it's just the same thing on repeat from 2 years ago. Nobody wants to continue playing a game that doesn't have any real change or any real value added to it, but a completely higher price tag for no reason. And I guess it's just the die-hard fans that are going to go out and buy it, or even the kids that think that that's peak Call of Duty today. I couldn't imagine what those shoes are like for some of these people that really do think these things because I grew up in real peak Call of Duty. I'm talking COD 4, the original Modern Warfare, World at War, Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, Modern Warfare 3, all the way up to even COD Ghost. That was such a slept on Call of Duty, and people still to this day will fight that that is where Call of Duty started going downhill. And I disagree with that so much because where I really saw it disappearing was maybe even Infinite Warfare, Advanced Warfare time. When they started tying supply crates into guns, into boxes, into different ways of getting loot so that you had better weapons, that was the pool that they were getting money from. And whenever things started leaning into all about making money, that's whenever it started to truly die out to me. And a lot of these games still do, like even Battlefield 1. Sure, it might not be like better skilled weapons or better ranked weapons as far as like the meta goes, but skins alone is what started to really kill things out. You can't even load into Warzone anymore and not see Nicki Minaj clapping cheeks flying down past the like the watchtower wherever you're landing in any POI and think what the hell is going on anymore. Last time I loaded into Warzone, I'm pretty sure I got killed by an entire squad of people dressed like Beavis and Butthead, and I instantly logged off and uninstalled that game and told myself I'm never doing that again. But I remember there was a time during COVID where I loaded into Warzone and probably had one of the best times on Call of Duty in a long time. But now I know that those days are completely gone. And maybe if there was a medicine to tell you that you're in the good days before you're no longer in the good days, I would take it. But for now, I think that I'm just good with being sober and realizing that maybe gaming isn't what it used to be. And even going back and playing old games like Pokemon on this little like game thing that I got that has like thousands of games, it's like some sort of Chinese emulator, and enjoying that is a sign that maybe we're in a gaming recession almost, and it's supposed to be this way. And I guess that could lead to better times in the future because every down has an up and every up has a down. And maybe this is a good sign, I guess, is the way that I should be looking at it. But I guess for now, I'm just going to have to sit with what it is in the present and hope that better days come from it. And I hope you guys can understand that maybe gaming isn't necessarily for everybody either. And I've started to slowly realize that too, because growing up, I've started to realize that there's so many different things in life that I want to enjoy and want to experience. And I've sat inside with a headset on and a controller in my hand for far too long. Now, I know that this might be weird to say, but especially with it being the premise of my entire channel so far. But gaming is really not what it used to be, and I don't know if it's ever going to feel like it did for me ever. And I'm okay with that. Now, I'm perfectly fine with going and getting these gameplays so that I can have something, playing in the background while I'm making these commentaries. Just like how I've seen in the good old days of YouTube and gameplay commentary Call of Duty. But hopefully that whenever in the future I can start making different kinds of content that maybe you guys can enjoy as well. And if you have any like I guess options for me that you might want to dish out, or any sort of critical judgments that you've got, I'd love to hear it in the comments because I love going through and reading you guys' words and opinions and any sort of context that you have to throw out there. It really does help me out here on this channel, and I appreciate all the love and support you guys have been providing. And if you do have any sort of like judgments, don't feel like super constricted to not say something about it. I mean, I'm literally just going on here and expressing myself on the internet. I don't give a shit what anybody has to say anymore. I've talked about things like quitting weed, with my dad being a murderer, quitting nicotine, what it's like being in the industry for marijuana and paraphernalia work. I mean, I truly do feel like I'm starting to kind of get a grip of where I'm at inside of this whole workspace. And I appreciate you guys' support and any sort of like critique that you have, because I truly do want to better myself in this sort of area. And if you do like these videos of me just going on a one take talk, very little editing, and just kind of giving my opinion or giving a shout of what's on my mind, go ahead and leave a like down on this video. Let's try to break, I don't know, 20 likes, I guess. And leave a comment down below of what I should do next if you have any sort of thoughts or anything on that. I appreciate you guys so much, and I'll catch you in the next one.